Hi, this is Alma, and welcome to my book journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today I'm really excited about this new TBR that I've constructed of sorts. And it is coming upon us really soon. We are heading into March already. This year is really going by really fast. So today I'm going to be going through all the books that I have selected for my TBR for March. And I'm going to try to not get too unrealistic. I kind of went overboard last month, as you may remember if you saw my videos for February. And I did read a lot of really great books, and I'm still, chugging along. My family and I, last week, we all got sick, and I was the last one to get it. So hopefully my voice doesn't sound too bad. And I wanted to get this video up and filmed before I started coughing, like everybody else started coughing. So, but I'm still trying to finish off some books that I'm reading for February. And so I have a few more days to get these done. And then I will hopefully film my wrap up later this week for you all. Well, after the month ends, and probably I'm trying to think. Probably at the end of the week, I will film that for you and let you know how I did and see what did I accomplish all the books that I set myself to read, and were there some good ones in there that you might enjoy too. So, but for today, and I keep my voice. I apologize. So I'm really excited about March because March, as some of you may know, in the BookTube community, March has pretty much designated, well, there's actually quite a few things in March, but the main thing that I'm going to be looking at this month is what's called Middle Grade March. And that's been going on for years. As remember, I'm pretty new to the BookTube community. I just barely started doing this last year, but they've been doing it evidently for many years. Excuse me. And so each February, and I will link the announcement video down below, and the co-hosts that are putting this on. And then I'm also I'll put up here a slide that has all the prompts and things. I'll put that up here a little bit later once I start going through them. But anyway, it is basically a way for people to get back into middle grade books and how wonderful they are. And I grew up loving reading, and so middle grade books, were my favorite, of course, when I was in middle grade. But now it's kind of fun to go back and read maybe some old ones that I read. But now, there's so many new classics, or not new classics, but really new ones that are out. And so I really love the Middle Grade March because they give us so many recommendations of new and good books out there, and that are not just for middle grade kids, but us as adults can really get something out of these books as well. So I'm excited about that. And then also in March, we have March Mystery Madness. And then we also have something called March Book of the Mammoths, which is like people that read like these huge, over 800-page books. And I may have one for that month. I was going to check before I started recording this video if that book had over 800 pages. We'll look at that together. Okay, so let's start off by, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my books that I've chosen to read for March that go along with my yearly challenges. And I figured out that I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess, 5 challenges that I'm doing. And each month, each of these people have given us different prompts for the month. And so the first one is Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. And so for March, and I am on the Doyle track. And remember, for Chantel's, you could either be on the Montgomery track or the Doyle track. And I started on the Doyle track. And so I am on, so that one for March. I'm sorry, my voice is getting out of hand. My prompt for the Doyle is Baker Street Irregulars. Read a book with more than 2 points of view. And so as I was like, oh, I had a good book for, for last year. So I'll give you a little recommendation. Oh, I should have put it out. For last, was it last month that I read it? I read a book called Salt to the Sea, and that one and that's by Ruta Sepetys. So if anybody is looking for a book that has more than 3 points of view, that one does have it. It has several points of view. So just a little freebie there. And then, so for me for this month, I was wanting to read some mystery for the March Mystery Madness month, and I had posted a video a couple days ago where I have all these books that I have in my stash on my shelves, and I asked for people to vote on what book I should read because I didn't know which one to pick. So one of the ones that everybody seemed to pick was this book. It's called And Then They Were None by Agatha Christie. And so when I looked up for Chantal's prompts, a book that has more than multiple points of view, I Googled it, and this title came up. And I said, whoa, well, there we go. I'm going to pick this one because, number one, it's a mystery, and it was one that a lot of the people so far, I haven't tallied it because I'm not done yet. So I'm going to post that video below. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, please watch it and, make a vote or put your choice of what book I should read. But so far, the number one has been this book. And so it went perfectly. So now this will count for one of the ones that somebody picked, and then also the mystery, and also for Chantal's. So this is called Agatha. It's like I said, and then there were none by Agatha Christie, and it's a pretty famous, one of her most famous mystery novels. So that's going to be what I'm going to read for Chantal's challenge. And then the next challenge that I'm doing for the annual is Katie's Paperbacks and Ponytails, and hers is kind of difficult because hers this month, it says a character you would bring on a trip. And so I am going to pick this at the end of the month. After I read all my books, I'm going to pick, well, out of all these books that I've read, which character would I bring on a trip? Because I haven't read any of these books, so I don't know. So that's going to be one I'll have to choose at the end of the month. And so the next one will be the Christian Fiction Challenge put on by Jane Reeds. And her prompt for March is set in a place you want to visit. And so I looked through my Christian fiction books that I had and trying to find out, which one had a place that was, interesting, a nice place that I would personally like to visit. And I found this book, and look at this beautiful cover. Isn't that beautiful? This is called The Nature of a Lady, and it's by Rosanna M. White. And this is the book one in a series called The Secrets of the Isle. And so I was reading the back of the cover or the back of the book to find out what it was about. And it's set in 1906, and it says, Lady Elizabeth Libby Sinclair, with her love of microscopes and nature, isn't favored in society. She flees to a beautiful isle of Sicily for the summer and stumbles onto the dangerous secrets left behind by her holiday cottage's former occupant, also named Elizabeth, who mysteriously vanished. So we have another kind of like a little mystery to this one too, but I chose it because she's going to be on the Isles of Sicily, and who doesn't want to be on an island somewhere, tropical island somewhere. So this is the one I'm going to read for Jane Reeds. So there's that. And then for Oshina's Christian Romance Challenge, I am going to pick, and her her prompts that she gave us, she didn't give us monthly prompts. She just gave us 12 prompts, and we could pick whichever one for whichever month, which I really, really appreciate. So this month I'm going to do her prompt 1, which is a new release. And I was so excited. I yesterday just ordered I think it's my first time ordering a pre-release book. And this is the book that I'm going to read for hers, because it's a new release and it doesn't come out until March the 12th. So we'll get that until the middle of the month. And that is called If the Boot Fits by Karen Whitmire. And this is the second book in her Western fairy tale retelling. And I read the first book, and which was so good. And that was called, I don't know why I always forget what the name of that book is. I did that last time. Fairest of Heart. Yes, Fairest of Heart. And that was a Snow White retelling in the West. And so now we have If the Boot Fits, and I love the cover of this book. And it is a Cinderella retelling, right, with the boot fits. So I'll just read a little bit what it is about on here. It says, determined to prove that cattle king Eli Deering has no justification for evicting his stepmother and half-brothers, Asher Ellis uses the cover of a fancy ball to break into the Three Cedars ranch house to search for proof of wrongdoing. On the verge of discovery, he flees, but a boy's cry compels him to make a daring rescue. Spunky and independent Samantha Deering balks when she learns the ball her father is hosting in her honor is nothing more than a matrimonial ambush. Taking a break from her unwanted suitors, Samantha spots a thief fleeing her home. When the stranger ends up saving her brother's life, she hides the only clue to his identity left behind, his boot, and resolves to find him herself. So it sounds like it's a switch between like she's the one finding the boot instead of the prince. So it's a flipped it's a flipped story. So I'm really excited about that. Like I said, I just ordered this yesterday, so I will be getting it in the middle of the month, and this will be my romance for my romantic book for romance book for Oshina. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so and then the last or yearly challenge for the month is Angie's from the book Mama. Her prompt for this month is a book with the animal on the cover. And that's going to be helpful because I've already got that prompt because one of the middle grade March prompts is also the same prompt, animal on the cover. So I'm just going to use the same book for both of them. And so this one is called The Dream Keeper Saga by Catherine Butler. And I've heard Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails read the whole series, and she enjoyed it. So I was excited to find these at my library. And so I picked up the first book in the series. And this one's called The Dragon and the Stone. And it's got a little bird on the cover. So that's going to be what fits my prompt. So it says, welcome to the Dreamkeeper Saga, an exciting adventure steeped in magic, mystery, and glimmers of hope. When 12-year-old Lily McKinley discovers a dragon eating her dinner and her late father's stone pendant glowing like fire around her neck, she tells herself it's only her imagination. Then one day she's transported to a new dimension filled with evil shrouds, harpies, and other magical creatures, and realizes she's embarked on an undeniable quest with everything she cherishes at stake. Join Lily and her friends as they fight to rescue the world from evil in the first adventure of the Dreamkeeper Saga. And this was really interesting. I was telling my husband, I go, that the author, it says, Catherine Butler is a trauma surgeon turned writer and homeschooling mom. Isn't that cool? She's a trauma surgeon and she's a homeschooling mom now. That's crazy. Anyway, so this is also a Christian fiction fantasy middle grade book. So there's that for that prompt. So those are the 4 yearly annual or yearly, monthly readathons that I'm doing. So for this month, we have middle grade March. And again, I'll post that video with the announcement with all the prompts and everything. And then they're also going to do a group read. And I put the group read on hold at the library. I don't know if I'm going to get around to reading it. It's a nonfiction, but I'll put a picture up here. And I don't even remember now what it's called. But I think it's a nonfiction middle grade book that is about the Mona Lisa. It sounds really interesting. Like I said, I put it on hold at my library, and hopefully it'll come in. So for middle grade March, they have, I think, 5 prompts. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to try to do all 5. And I chose books that weren't very long because I have a book this month that I really want to get to that's really long. So I want to make sure I have enough time to read all these books. So the first prompt for middle grade March is a one-word title. And a lot of these books I got from Books and Gems from her, because she had a really good book, really good video, and I'll link that below, of recommendations. She gave 5 books for each prompt recommendations. And I haven't read a lot of middle grade books recently, so it's really good to get these recommendations from her. So it's Krista, I'm sorry, Krista from Books and Gems. So this is one of the ones she recommended. It's called Wish Tree. It's by Catherine Applegate. I love the cover. And this is about, it says, trees can't tell jokes, but they can certainly tell stories. Red is an oak tree who is many rings old. Red is in the neighborhood wish tree people. Let me start over again. Red is the neighborhood wish tree people write their wishes on pieces of cloth and tie them to Red's branches, along with a crow named Bongo and other animals who seek refuge in Red's hollows. This wish tree watches over the neighborhood. You might say Red has seen it all. So it's a book about the tree and what the tree sees. So, and Krista said she really, really enjoyed this book. So it's a short one. So that is going to be the one I picked for the first prompt. The second prompt is they asked us to choose a book that has like an immigrant story or a refugee story. And this is one that she recommended, and it's called Other Words from Home by Jasmine Warga. Now, I read another book by this author, and it was last year's middle grade March book read that was called The Rover Story, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year last year. And so I'm really excited to read another book by her, but this one's different because this one is a book in verse, and Rover Story was not. It was just a regular story. So this is going to be a really good book, and it's about a young woman from Syria and her experience living in the United States. So that is the one I'm going to read for this this prompt. And then the next one is an animal or creature on the cover, and I've already talked about that one. That's the Dreamkeeper Saga book. And then the next one is read a book that is first time, a debut novel or a debut book by a middle grade book that's a debut, like the first book. And so I picked this book up a while back, and it's by Reka. I think that's Reka Clausen, and this is Chantel's from Chantel Reads All Day. Her daughter wrote this, and isn't that amazing? Her daughter wrote this book, and so it's called Lone Wolf, and so this is her first book. So I'm going to pick this for my debut novel, and it's another short one, but I've heard from a lot of people that have picked it up that they really enjoy it. So this is the book that I'm going to read for that prompt. And then the last prompt is what they call it, you're the last person to read this book, or it's a book that's been out, or book that everybody's read or you haven't got around to reading. So since going back to the mystery month, I decided to read a Nancy Drew mystery, and I was trying to think if I had ever read a Nancy Drew. I probably did back when I was younger. I just don't remember. It's been so long. But recently, at a book at my library, they had a bunch of these old um, Nancy Drew books, and I picked up a bunch of them. And so I'm going to read this one. It's called The Secret of Shadow Ranch. And look at this old cover, and I love the inside. It's got a really pretty inside cover. And so this is one of her books, and I looked it up on Goodreads, and it got a really good rating. I love these old pictures. So this will be what I'll be reading for that prompt. All right. Time for a drink of coffee. Okay, so those are all. So that's my middle grade March stack. That is for all the readathons that the annual readathons that I'm doing, all those prompts. And so the rest of the books are books that I just want to try to get, that I'm interested in reading for the month. And then also the little jar that I have that I pick out. This month I'm not going to choose from the jar. I am going to pick from that shelf, but I'm not going to pick from the jar. I'm going to pick a book that my son has been trying to get me to read since last year, and he told me, "Mom, you have to read this book. You have to read this book." And it was on so many TBRs last year, and I never got around to it. And he's always told me, "Mom, have you read the book? Mom, have you finished the book? Have you read the book?" And I hadn't gotten around to reading it. And so I was going to check with you and see if this is over 800 pages to see if it counted for the mammoth book, because it's pretty, oh my goodness, it even has a glossary. And this is it's not, it's only 600 so pages. It's still a big chunk. Anyway, this is a book, and that's called The Gulag Archipelago. I should have asked him, how do you pronounce this? It's a beautiful book. And this is a nonfiction book it is a true story that the author wrote about his experience in the Russian Gulag. And I did start it last year, but I only got to page 20. And not that it's not a good book, it's just at the time I couldn't read it. So I'm definitely going to have to restart it because I already forgot. And I also want to, now that I've been tabbing books and stuff, I'll be able to tab it, because I'll definitely want to do that. But let me just read the back of what this says. It says, the greatest and most, well, let me start with it. Volume 1, so there's more than one, but I only have this one. Volume 1 of the gripping epic masterpiece. The author's last name is Solkenstein's chilling report of his arrest and interrogation, which exposed to the world the vast bureaucracy of secret police that haunted Soviet society. The greatest and most powerful single indictment of a political regime ever to be leveled in modern times, an extraordinary achievement. His reconstruction of this secret country within the country in itself, a heroic accomplishment under Soviet conditions. And so this happened in the 40s, I believe, when he was arrested. So this book, that's what I wanted to really make the rest of my reading month pretty light, with my middle grade books being shorter, so I can make sure to get this book done. And so I have the whole month to work through this, and I'm going to do my best to finish it, because my son doesn't think I can do it, but I can read it. I can finish it. And so that's this one. And then I have 4 other books on my shelf right now, or right here, that if I have time. If I get, of course, I've got to get this one done for sure. But there, if I get some of the other ones done, oh my hair. If I get some of the other ones done, um, I want to try to get these read as well. I'm still have to read my book by Ariadra and the Legend of the Fire Rose. I have mentioned this in a previous video. Definitely want to get this one finished up and read, and because I want to do a review for you all on that one. And then this is another one I've talked about in a previous video, The Kitchen House. This one's borrowed from the library, so I want to try to get to this one as well this month. And then this is if I have time at the end of the month, for sure. I might even squeeze this one until next month. And this is by Irene Hanna, Deceived. This is the third one, and I've read books 1 and 2 and really loved it. That's why I'm eager to read it. But so this is the third book in the private justice novel series. It has to do with a private eye group, and this is the third installment, and they've been really good. I've been really pleased with this series. So there's that one. And then here. And then of course, I want to jump on this bandwagon that I've been seeing, this book. And it's pretty thick, but I really want to read it too. And this is called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And this one, Oshina got everybody, thinking about this book. And then Amanda just did a vlog about her reading this book. And I don't want to watch the vlog yet. I will watch it, but I don't want to watch it until after, until I, start reading it. So I'm saving that vlog, Amanda, to watch it. But I really want to read this book because it sounds like it's one that I will enjoy. So this is one that's, once I get done with some of these middle grade ones, I want to jump into this one as well. So again, I'm putting a lot on my plate as far as reading to get all these books done. But March is a little bit longer, so hopefully I can get these things done. Okay, so I think that's everything that I'm planning on doing for March. And it's not as many as last month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus the one that hasn't come in yet, so 13. But some of these are really, really short, like her book is really, really short. It won't take me that long to read these. And then the one that's a verse, the first book won't take very long as well. So those are the books that I have for this month. Please comment below. Let me know if you're going to be joining in middle grade March, if you're going to be joining in doing any of the March mystery. In the March Mystery Madness, they have prompts, but I'm not going to do any of the prompts. I'm just going to try to read a mystery book because I didn't read a whole lot of mysteries last year, so I want to try to get those in. And then just as a reminder, if you haven't watched my last video that talks about all the mysteries that I have, and if you haven't had a chance to watch the video and vote on which book I should read, please do that. I'm not gonna choose my next book. I picked the Agatha Christie, but I'm not gonna pick because I wanted to read at least 2 books from that stack of a lot of books that I had. So I've already picked the Agatha Christie book, but the next book that comes in, like the second or whatever, I'll read that one. And so make sure you go watch that video and vote for a book or comment on if you've read any of those books and which one I should read. Okay, I think I've said enough. I think that's plenty. I'm so excited to get started reading in March. If you're like me, once I'm in the month, I'm already thinking, okay, what am I going to read next month? So I've been thinking about these books for a while, even though I had tons of books to read for February. I was already thinking, okay, what am I going to read for March? What am I going to read for March? And I'm always thinking ahead and thinking about what I want to put on my TBR. So are you like that? Are you thinking about what you're going to read, or you're already thinking about April, what's coming up in April for the spring? And we don't have spring yet. I was just noticing right before I started videoing, the snow started falling outside. So I thought we were going to have an early spring, but maybe not. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and look forward to hearing your comments below what you're reading for middle grade March and what you're reading for March Mystery Madness. Let me know. And thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.